So, guys, today what we're going to talk about, and we're gonna, go back and forth. I want you guys to ask all the questions, but we're going to talk about how you guys sort of gain, how you sort of gain more trust with this sales process, with this intro process. Because remember, with us running paid ads, we do get many more opportunities to close people, which is great, right? But unlike our, organic leads or our members sending people in, what happens with this is these people, they just happen to be at work and they see a cool ad and they're like, oh yeah, I like to lose 15 pounds. I need to go check that out. The next thing you know, in 2 or 3 days, they end up in front of one of you guys and they're like, okay, tell me more, right? So at this point, they don't know, like, or trust us. So I want to sort of dive into how do we gain more trust, right? Because I believe that's one of the biggest things that we sort of take for granted that we can do with these brand new people. So for me, the first thing is I always recommend that you guys try to make a connection before they get in the gym, right? Before they come in for the intro, for the class, right? And what I mean by that, so for instance, in my case, everyone did a free intro, right? So even if they responded yes the day before, I would still try to, for me, I would basically maybe reach out to them and say, hey, Will, I saw you coming, we're excited to see you tomorrow. Uh, is this your first time coming to a CrossFit gym? Or is it your first time doing this type of workouts? I'm just trying to sort of put their barriers down so that they can know that, okay, this is a real person, right? In addition to that, it's sort of a old sales tactic, but I think it still worked. I used to do it quite often. So when someone first came um, into my gym, one, I will offer them a free water, right? Obviously, you guys know that we make a killing off water at most CrossFit gyms because we go to Sam's and buy the 24 pack for $5, and we sell the water bottles for $1, right? So you can give every single person that comes in a free water bottle, or at least offer them, hey, are you thirsty? Um, so that puts them at ease, believe it or not, even at a you know subconscious level. So I try to give them something because it's shown that when you give someone something, then they want to give you something back. So I would give them a bottle of water, and then from there, once we would go through, we would talk about the intro. Um, we would get the data from their in-body scans because we would also, again, we would give everyone a free in-body scan. If you don't have an in-body machine, let me know. I have one sitting in my closet. I'll sell to you at a great price. But we used to give the in-body scans away, and the reason we used to do that is because, one, it it allowed me to show them, for lack of a better term, just how much work they needed to do, right? Because even if someone is in decent shape, right, their body fat percentage is probably going to be a little bit higher than they think. Muscle mass can be increased. So when I would give them the in-body scan, that was my second give, and I had only met them for 15, 20 minutes at that point. I gave them a bottle of water, whether they wanted it or not. Then I gave them the in-body scan again, right? So that's two things I've given them. And I would break down the in-body scan. Again, for me, I was crystal clear with them that, hey, Pete, usually we charge $35 for these in-body scans, but I'm going to give you the first one free. I used to joke around, Pete, I'm going to give you the first one free. No, I'm not a drug dealer, but I know if I get you one, you're going to want to get more to see your progress, right? So through that, and then once we would do that, um, it was sort of just dealing with the objections from there, right? Dealing with the objections. But to stay on topic of building the trust, the first thing you give them is a bottle of water. You offer them a water. Second thing, I would give them. You may or may not have any type of analytics to give them, but I would give them the free in-body scan. Right now, speaking of where you do the intro, this is let me see. It is not a good or a bad thing. It's sort of like a good, better, best, right? So nothing is going to be bad because you're bringing them in, you're talking with them one on one. So that's more than most gyms do anyway. So we're already winning. But I like to say the best option is that you have an area for them to do the intro in that's not on the gym floor, right? Preferably behind a closed door so they can really open up. Now, here's the thing. Most people, they really don't notice the difference, right? Is if you had, where you're doing the intro, because being told honest, uh, in the beginning of my sort of gym ownership life, I used to do the intros sort of out in the lobby because I didn't have an office to take them in. And for me, you know, our members love us. So what do you guys think would happen when like it was sort of a good thing though. Members would walk through the front door. I'm sitting sort of over there on the side. They see me talking to a new member. They're gonna come and say, "Hell, hey, like you gotta join, you gotta love it here." But they're sort of interrupting our flow, right? Think about this lady that I'm talking to. She could just be talking about, yeah, um, I don't think my husband finds me super attractive. I'm not feeling great. I need to lose 15 pounds. Then someone walks in and says, yeah, you got to join. So it sort of breaks up the flow. So the best thing to do, if possible, is it to have a room for them to sit down and do the intro where you can close the door. Now, here's the thing. If you don't, that's fine. Sort of a step down from that is to do it when there's not a lot of people in the gym. If you had to do it on the gym floor, right? And then sort of the step down from that, you just get it done in the gym when everything is going on. Again, that is not horrible. I did that for years, right? And I still signed up tons of people. So it's not like, oh, if you're doing that, you're not going to sign anyone up. Like that's not the case at all. But like I told you guys, it's sort of that good, better, best option. And a good option is just do it however you can in the middle of a class on the side if you while everything is going on, music blaring. Um, Better is to basically get them in when no one's in the gym if you don't have a closed door. And they can, you could do it on the gym floor, but no one's there and blah blah blah. Best option is you have a room for them because that way in the room you can have you can have testimonials on the wall, all of that stuff right there. Just sort of trying to elevate that level of service at each step that you go up. Again, that's sort of the good, better, best. And guys, this is the stuff that sets the tone, right? Because you guys know, like we take it for granted, right? Like we're all in fairly good shape. We do cool stuff with our fitness, but most of our clients, they're not like us, right? Like they're not like us. Like they don't want to work out as hard as we work out. They don't want to do the things that we do. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we've all had members at our gym, stay-at-home moms, our moms in general, dads, working dads. They're just trying to, bro, I'm trying to lose, like I'm trying to lose this stomach, Pete. I'm trying to just get in better shape. I want to be able to do more stuff with my kids. So we need to make sure that we're set up a place for them to be comfortable in. Because again, most people like they're afraid when they walk in those doors, whether they say it or not, like they're afraid because they really don't know. Maybe they've seen some commercial. Maybe they have a really fit friend that they watch transform their body. So that's why they're there. But they're like, well, I know how much work she did. I know she talks about all this crazy stuff. And she showed me her hands one time and they were all bloody and she was laughing about it. So they're kind of afraid. So that's why, having somewhere, having that good, better, best option for them to get onboarded and then setting them up to just be comfortable to speak freely with you. Because I always used to tell people if I had someone cry in my intro, that means they're gonna sign up. Now I never had dudes cry. It was only ladies. But like if I had a lady cry, hand over that credit card, lady. You have a real pain point. I'm gonna help you solve it after I put in those digits on that credit card. So, you have to take the time to get to know these people, meet them where they are. And again, like it's sort of hard to get someone to be fully transparent with you when you're sitting in the middle of a gym or people are walking by. So that's why I used to, like, I had it to where the door would close. But one thing I did at my gym, it just sort of worked out that way. Like I had a closed door, but I'm weird about like being behind closed doors with women and stuff like that. So I had a like just where I had my office set up. So Will, sort of like you're sitting in front of. So I had a big window, so I could close the curtains. But when I opened the curtains, it looked like at the gym. So then I would sit in there and do work sometime. But whenever I did an intro, I would have one side open so that people could see in, that person could see out, So it was a totally open area. I was just funny about that. Because people are weird. So like that's my thing with you guys being, just be careful. When I say go behind closed doors, you always just want to protect yourself. People are weird. Business owners, they may say or do anything. So for me, um, I always try to have, even when I was behind a closed door, I try to have some type of transparency so people could see in. But that's sort of to start it off. What kind of questions do you guys have about that, if anything?
Yeah, you speak of transparency. That's one of the reasons why I got rid of one of my office, because it didn't have a window, and it was awkward, right? So I actually demoed it and made more floor space. But um, my experience, I mean, the InBody works, but I know, I mean, ladies in general, how do you feel with, like, some of them don't want to get on that scale, like, and that's kind of a sticky, like, I don't like to do women's measurements anymore. I used to do it when I worked in a big global gym. Like, it didn't
Yep.
bother me, but I'm doing the intro when no one's there. So
Yep.
I try to do it in the front, like at the entrance, leave the door
Yep.
open. And I'm just not super comfortable with, like, or maybe seeing, like, that barrier, right? So I might go with the water, and then just do that InBody. I bought one of the InBody, like the home ones, so it's fine for right now. It wasn't
Yeah. 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 That's
expensive.
fine. Yeah.
It's so it and I'm going to use that for the clients when they do their scans, their monthly scans to for progress. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know about doing, like, weighing and measuring ladies by myself in the gym.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Pete, like that I used to do. So, um, the InBody, they just basically step on it, right? They just basically step on it. Like
Right.
I didn't have to touch them and vice versa. So for me, it was no real issue for me to have a woman step on the end, because the only thing she had to take off were her shoes, right?
Like
Um
shoes and
feet are
socks, whatever.
Yeah, correct. Feet are disgusting to me, so I didn't look at anyone's feet. So
Yeah.
so when they would do that, the thing that would sort of, I think, sold me a lot of memberships, I would print off their InBody sheet, right? And then I would go over the data quickly, but then whatever their body fat percentage was, I want to be crystal clear.
Yeah.
I wasn't fat shaming anyone or anything like that, but I would circle their body fat percentage, whatever it was. Then I would pull out my chart, right? My hefty little chart. And it was something, let me see if I can find one right quick. What is body fat percentage chart? Oh, look, this is the one that I had right here. So look, let me show you this. Like, this is the one that I had. I just printed it off. I printed it off online, and I used this for years. Look, let me show you. So basically, I would have them step on it, right? And then I would circle theirs, and I would talk about their other data, quick muscle mass. This is how we're trying to do. And I would say, okay, so Pete, right now, based on where you are, Pete, you're sitting at about 22% body fat. So right now, you're in the average body fat percentage. So it's not horrible, right? It could be better. So, like, I assume you want to make improvements on this. That's why you're here. And Pete's like, yeah, like no one wants to be average. So okay,
Yeah.
so Pete, I think I have the great plan for you. And that's when I would go into my sales pitch. Now, if I'm being honest, I would say at least 60, 70% of people that came into my gym, they were in the obese category. Even some people that are not obese like we're thinking, they're just a little heavy, right? They're just a little heavy. So a lot of people, they would be in the obese category again. I would circle theirs and I would say, okay, so just based on the chart, if it's a woman, I'm like, hey, I want to be clear. I'm just comparing the data here. She's like, no, 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 I get it. So right now, Susie, you're sitting at about 33% body fat, which is, according to the American Council of Exercise, that's an obese category. So we want to get that down. And, like, that. That's why you're here. And Susie's like, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm here. Like I don't feel great in my clothes. Everything's tight. And then from there, I jump right into my sales pitch, because now I've shown them that, I mean, they know their problem. That's why they're there with me. Then I've shown them, on based on the InBody, I'm showing them, hey, this is where you lie, and we need to fix this. When I jump into my sales pitch, they're like, okay, okay, yeah, like, yeah, I know I need to make a change, and then we would go from there. So Pete, that's what I did with the InBody. Yeah, I didn't do the whole tape measure and measuring chest and hips. No, no, no. It was just take off your shoes, get on the InBody, and that's all that I did. Yeah, I didn't do anything
Okay.
else.
So did you ever have women that would not like that? It put them in a bad headspace when they did it and it caught like backfired on you or anything like that?
So over the years, I had a few women that say I would rather not get on it. Okay, no problem
Oh,
whatsoever.
yeah.
Like, and then I just moved past it. Like, we didn't get on it. Obviously, I didn't pull out the body fat percentage chart because a woman like that, you know, or a man like that, but I don't want to know. Well, they know they have a real problem that they're trying to fix. So that was sort of easier. You know, that's sort of easier. Like, if they tell me I don't want to get on because I don't even want to know what my weight is, well, they know that they're overweight at that point. So, okay, check. Like, we're just gonna
Yeah.
move past that and we're gonna talk about what they need to do. But yeah, I've had some people say, well, I don't want to get on, you know, blah blah blah.
Or the scale doesn't read because they're too fat. Like,
No, I never had that.
I've had that. So yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I used to have a shipping scale in the gym, and then people took offense to that, so I took that out.
Okay, yeah, no, 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 I never had that.
Yeah, all right. So I mean, so maybe the conversation in advance is that like breaking the ice, or like making the connection would be, hey, and we'll offer you a free in-body scan when you come in for your meeting, so that they know it's coming. So it's not like, hey,
Correct.
let's get you on the scale. Um, maybe I could present it that way. I just feel like it's an awkward thing to be like, hey, welcome in. How are you doing? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's put you on the scale.
Oh
Like,
no, no, no. So now here's the thing. I agree, like that would be awkward. But so now the way I used to do it, like, hey, how you doing? We talk, and I would say, okay, I would say, you know, this is how I would transition. I used to transition. So Pete, so normally what we do in these intros, I need to have a little bit more data about you before I make the best recommendation for you. So what we normally do, like I would put you on my InBody scan. Have you ever heard of InBody machine, Pete? People like, no, I haven't. Okay, so basically it's gonna give me your weight, muscle mass, body fat percentage, and that lets me see where you are, so that when I create this program, when I recommend the program for you, it's the best program for you. You don't have to do it, but if you do, I'll get you on the InBody scan. And on top of this, Pete, we normally charge like $35 for this, but you'll get it free, of course, today. So, Pete, are you interested in that? 99% of people like, yeah, I'll take it when you present it like that. But I agree with
okay,
you. If you just jump right into it, but again, you have to talk about it. You have to let them know why you're doing it and how it benefits them.
gotcha, gotcha. All right, I
Will, what
appreciate
do
that.
you have? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've had a few times where somebody comes in and pretty quickly you can kind of tell either one, you can tell like they're fine. They don't necessarily like they're not in there for the numbers. Um, but like I had that fairly recently, and then at the same time, like you have somebody who like they know what they want. They're only in there for group classes or whatever it is. Like they already know what they want. And like I had somebody come in like just to be specific, and she was like, I really don't care about getting on the scale. And she didn't say that, but she was basically saying that with everything she was saying. And she was kind of like, well, I could do it, but then she was like, well, what before we even do that, what is your price? How much is this? And so, and that doesn't happen all the time, but I've had that happen a few times. And what do you do in situations like that?
All right, say that last piece again so I can make sure I'm crystal clear about what you're asking me.
Yeah,
If
so this
someone,
person came in, she was
uh-huh,
asking me for, I was basically just started out going through the sales pitch,
mm-hmm,
I get to know them a little bit and then go into
yep,
basically what you just said about the InBody. And when I asked her that, she
yep,
was clearly like, I'm just here to move. I'm just here to be healthy. I run. I don't really care about how much I weigh or how much muscle I gain and all that kind of stuff. But I would be open to doing a body scan. And so it was like right off the bat, I could tell she didn't really care about doing one.
yeah,
So red flag should have gone up and said, hey, don't worry about it. We don't have to do it. Could have done that. And then from there, she kind of said, well, before we even do something like that, how much is this going to cost? Because if I can't afford something like afford a membership here, then I don't really care to do the body scan anyways.
yeah, yeah. So now there's a couple that I think that's sort of one of those unique buyers where if you tell that they're just not just sort of give them what they want, because obviously she was really only there for the price. Because here's the thing, like me, Will, so like you're a baby, like Pete know this side of me. Like I used to compete in regionals, the games, all that stuff. even when I was in the best shape of my life, I still wanted to know my numbers, right? I want to know where I sat as far as muscle mass. I want to know my body fat percentage. So it really was, and it definitely wasn't about losing weight or anything like that. So again, some people will come in like that. And a lot of times, it's primarily females. They're like, I really don't care about that. It's fine because it's not only about weight, it's also about muscle mass, right? Because because one way that you keep members longer is saying, okay, hey, I really want to know your muscle mass and stuff. So as we start increasing your muscle and losing body fat, if the scale doesn't change as much, I don't want you to think like, oh, this isn't working, right? Because that's one of the things that we see with CrossFit athletes all the time. You'd be like, man, this dude weighs 190 pounds. He doesn't look like it. Well, he's sitting at, 12% body fat. So he's still on a lot of muscle, right? So, but yeah, definitely sort of fill out the room and you go with whatever you want. Like if you feel like, it's not worth it, just say, okay, hey, no problem. We don't have to do the in-body and just move past it and get to that sales point. But like I said, most people though, they're going to be totally on board, especially when you explain to them the benefits of getting on the in-body scale.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I had Will, I had somebody that who's a client. So I put him on the scale and then the reading didn't come out right. He had to go, but we got his body fat and some other things, and it was like 22%, right? And I was like, which is not terrible for a guy. It's not fantastic, but it's not terrible for a guy coming in. So I retested him when he came back, and mine has the visceral fat piece on there, like a scale of 1 to 10. Anything over 10 basically is you need to do something about your diet. And when we got him on there, he scored a 10, and he's like, "That's all I need to see. Let's start the nutrition piece." So like originally, 4 days earlier, he wasn't interested in talking nutrition at all, and now he's all in on the nutrition side because he just got a number that scares him. So I'm probably gonna lean on that one. So not to like shame people into like their 28% body fat or something like that.
Yep.
I just got to figure out how to introduce it better in the sales call. That's I'm struggling a little bit with um, people that are coming in that I'm having a hard time connecting with them.
Yeah.
So like they're just either evasive or they think I'm trying to like take their wallet or something like that.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind that someone would get in the car, drive over to the gym, like want to have a conversation with me, but not want to tell you anything. It's just
Yep.
like it blows my mind. It's just I don't understand.
Yeah. And I think that again, I think that like you guys are running into, or you will run into common problems, right? Like nothing you're running into is going to be abnormal. Definitely not something I haven't heard of. And again, you guys always use your best judgment. Some of these people are just like you're saying, like Pete, I've had plenty of intros. This person came in and then I'll be sitting there and I'm just like, all right, you have to give me a little bit more, right? Like I didn't reach out to you, you reached out to me. Like, okay, you can't give me all one word answers. I want to help you, but I need a little bit more. But as you get better at asking them questions, digging a little bit deeper. Again, most people that come in the door, they do have a problem and they do want to do something, even if it's not at your gym because of price or whatever. They do want to do something. I'm not one of those that say, oh, someone. I strongly believe someone that comes in, drives across town, sits down with a stranger, and talks to them about their fitness and their weight. This is a warm lead, right? Regardless if they decide to pay you or not. So for me, anytime I got to sit down with someone, like that was a win for me. That was a huge win because so one of the things that I remember before we get ready to get out of here, unless you guys have something else. So I had a lady come in. I didn't even remember that she came in. She came in for an intro. She got on the in-body scan. The thing I love about the in-body scan is that once they put in their phone number, it sort of remembers their data forever, right? So this lady came in. She came back like 18 months later. I didn't remember. Obviously, I deal with tons of people, but she had gained like 42 pounds over the last year and a half. So when it printed out, I wasn't expecting to see numbers from before. So when it printed out, it kind of shocked me. Obviously, she remembered me, but she didn't say anything in the beginning. And I was just like, oh, okay, Cheryl. So like, I know you're ready to get going today, Cheryl, because last time you did this InBody with me, you were like 42 pounds heavier. And I know you already told me you want to lose some weight. And she was like, yeah, that's why I'm here. Basically, full stop. There's no more to talk about. Okay, Cheryl, so this is what we're going to do. Let's get going. And she joined and she stayed around for a long time. But like, that's the beauty. Like, that's why I like giving out something free. Just because you just never know when these people are going to come back around. Right. So,
Have you ever seen like we have I don't even know what the brand is, but you know, whatever the InBody competitor is,
yeah.
it has the body age on that. Have you ever seen that before?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Is
Yep.
that now? I always kind of tell people like, look, I'm going to show you this, but absolutely take it with a grain of salt because like I don't even have a clue how it calculates that. Do you think like? But I have like people who come in who are like, hey, I'm 30 years old, but like when they stepped on the scale, it showed that their body age was 70 or something. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, hang on a second, like you were definitely out of shape, but like are you 70? But like when people see that number, they're like, oh my gosh, like does it really think that I'm 70 years old? Because if that like, you know, it's almost like the visceral muscle or whatever, like
Correct.
shows you something similar. Like, is that even something worth noting, or you kind of take that with a grain of salt?
Yeah, so I would sort of take it with a grain of salt. Like, here's the thing: some people, like you're saying, you see some people are going to be like, "What? This thing think I'm 70? I need to make a change." Some people are going to be like, "This thing says I'm 70. This thing is a piece of trash," right? So it's sort of
Yeah,
one of
it's
those
at least
things.
worth noting that it's there more so than like, you know, tell people, hey, you know, don't worry about this. Don't look into this too much. But at the same time, somebody might look at it and be like, gosh, I got to do something now.
Correct, correct, correct. So yeah,
Will, I just tell them basically, I've been telling the same thing all over and over again for, I don't know, last whatever years. All this is a baseline, right? It's a starting
Yeah.
point. So when we come back here 30 days from now, and we look at the baseline and the numbers are trending in the right direction, then things are working. If they're not trending in the right direction, then we need to make some adjustments, and that's why we meet, right? So,
Yeah.
so even if that 70 goes to 65, then it's a win, right?
That's the progress, right?
Yeah.
How often are you doing follow-ups, like a follow-up scan?
For me, I'm doing it I'm so on the 90-day piece, I'm doing it every 30 days.
and for me, when I did on the 90 days, I used to do mine day one, about, and then I would do it about day 40, and then I would do it about 10 days before the membership re-upped. So
Okay.
they would get one in the intro, then they would get one about sort of like Pete saying, like about a month or so after they've started, and then they would only get one more about a week or two before it was time for them to really make a decision if they're going to stick around or not.
Yeah. Well, one other question, kind of related. When you started out, you were talking a little bit about, you know, whatever you offer, whether that's a consult or, you know, an intro, whatever that looks like for you. Have you ever, or at least what is your thought on doing like, you know, get somebody on the phone, they come into the gym, you know, you sit down across from them for a consult. That's kind of like, at least that's the way that I do it. That's what we talked about.
Yep.
But I've had several times where people are like, can I try a class first? Like, it seems like people are really hesitant to sign up if they've never done it before, especially in CrossFit when it's got negative connotations.
Yep. Yes. Okay. So this will take you this will take you a little bit to sort of get over this and people stop asking. Remember, people are really asking these questions because one, they don't know what else to ask, and two, it just seems like it just makes sense to them
Mhm.
to say, well, I need to try it first because I got to try something before I buy it. But that's not necessarily true. So you have to learn how to flip this on his head to make it about them. Again, when you're in these intros, everything you do is about the client. So for instance, okay, Will, let's sort of role play a little bit. So Will, I want you to like I'm gonna be trying to sign you up, and then you're gonna hit me with I need to try it out before I, join. Right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
okay, so Will, like I think I know like the perfect program for you, buddy. So again, like I told you, I think you coming in 3 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week for group fitness, plus the customized nutrition would be the best option for you based on everything we talked about. So how does that sound, Will?
It sounds good. And it's everything that I'm looking for, but I'm a little hesitant to sign up without actually trying class first.
Yeah. So Will, I get that. Here's the thing, Will. So like I've owned this gym for 13 years. I want to make sure that you have the best possible experience every time you walk through this door. So here's the thing. This is why we don't let people quote unquote try out classes unless it's, like once a quarter we have bring a friend days. But like we don't let people try out classes because I don't want you to come into a group class with 15, 20 people and be uncomfortable, right? I don't want us to be like your first class. You come to a class and we're doing hang power snatches. Will, have you ever heard of hang power snatches? You're gonna be like,
Oh.
no. Okay, exactly. Will, so like I don't want your first day to be unenjoyable. So like we don't let people try out classes, but it's primarily for your well-being and the safety of you as an athlete. So that's the only reason we won't let you try it out. But Will, we got 200 people here crushing it every day. Like you give me 90 days, and we're gonna get you going, right? So how does that sound? Most people are totally fine with it when you explain to them why, right? When you explain to them why, the benefit it goes to them because again, no one wants to feel dumb in a group class. No one wants to feel uncomfortable. So when you again, and that was sort of my go-to with these new people, hang power snatch, hang power clean, Turkish get up, stuff I know they had never heard of. They're like, no, I've never heard of that. Like, yeah, well, that's my thing, right? I don't want your first class to have movements like that, and then you're standing on the side, not looking, not feeling comfortable. And they'll be like, oh, okay, I get it.
Do you like the idea of saying things like listen, if you don't like after the first class, if you don't like it, I'm just going to give you your money back anyways because my reputation's worth more than your $300.
Yeah, that's like to me, that's neither here nor there. I never said it, but I don't have an issue with that to sort of appease some people. Because yeah,
I mean,
but
if
me,
they're pushing hard or something like that.
correct. Like it's totally fine for you to say that. Like I never said it because again, for me, like one class isn't even enough, right? Like, at my gym, they had to go through 4 personal training sessions and that's one-on-one. So that's always good. And then you come to your first class. Yeah, you're going to be a little bit nervous. I don't know what the workout's going to be on your first class, but it's probably going to be much harder than anything you've ever done before. So like, I need you to give this 3 months. That's the reason we had you sign a 3-month agreement. That's why you clicked on the 12-week ad because you understand that you can't do one class and figure it out, So,
yeah, we don't have, I see, because my call, like, I don't, a lot of people will be like, because my foundations are set times, so
gotcha.
and so because I just don't have the time or the floor space, so I may be putting them in a class before they go to their
Gotcha.
first foundations class. So
Uh,
it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh no, I don't put people in class to get you signed up, and I'm going to put you in class. Like,
yeah,
yeah, like I'll contradict
yeah,
myself right away.
yeah. I
Um,
got you.
so I try to ease that a little bit, and then a lot of times I'm like, well, see, because of the fact that you don't have the experience, even though we have, because I even offer 3 different tracks on the programming side. So there's a beginner track that's in there that I have like them following for the first 30 to 60 days, depending upon their athletic ability. And so I introduce them to that track. I show them what's going on, and pretty much I try to get them to come into my classes that I'm coaching because I can make them probably feel the most at ease.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always happen the way I want it to. Yeah, so I've used the whole thing like, listen, if you're super unhappy, but I don't let them start that free trial or that class unless I've already got payment.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. Again, like I don't think that's a deal breaker either way. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
they like to ease someone because again, you guys got to think about it. Like, we don't operate like that in like micro gyms and stuff like that. But like one of the big reasons that we can't do certain things, like, like there's certain states that can't do they're not supposed to do like paid in full memberships and all these advanced memberships. And the reason they do that because the big boxes, they used to like come to a town like Atlanta. They would set up, on the outskirts of Atlanta. They start, like they were saying that they would start building this building, but get in early, join for the year for only $500 or whatever. And then they get 10,000 people to do that. Then next thing you know, they never open, but they've got a fat payday, right? So, and I'm saying all that. So a lot of these people, they just don't trust the gym industry like most people don't. So, you have to, at times you have to give them a little bit to let them see that, hey, like we're different here. Like you're gonna see, like, I'm the owner, you're gonna see me multiple times per week. It's not like, oh, there's some guys, a group that owns them, they don't even live in this state. So yeah, I
Yeah.
get that for sure.
All right.
So. Well, good,
But I'll
fellas.
try that I'll try that in-body approach. I got a couple calls this week with people, so I'm gonna try it, see how it works out.
Good. Yeah, you guys try that out. And Pete, like after you do a couple, like shoot me an email, a Facebook message, whatever, like let me know. Cause I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised how it goes. Again, most of the kickback guys that we get in these intros, it's just it's not even kickback. People are just asking questions and stuff because they just don't know, right? It's just like they just don't know. So having all of the answers, quote unquote, all of the answers. Because I always joke around, there's nothing like I could sit down at an intro in your gym, Pete, your gym will, and I guarantee I could sign someone up. And I don't know much about how you operate your gym in the day-to-day, but I'm going to sign them up for that membership because I've just heard everything over the years and blah, blah, blah. So like it's really not about the gym, right? It's really about them at that time when they come in and how I'm going to solve their problem.
Let me. I know you got to go, but one
No,
last
it's
question.
fine. No. You
One
good?
last question. The last two calls that I've done,
Yep.
one guy came in, nice guy, but you know, like could almost barely walk, like his knees were jacked up, and he drove like 40 minutes to get to the gym, and he was talking about schedule, and that was one of his conflicts as far as like he wasn't sure about signing up because he wasn't sure about the schedule. He worked in the area and all this other stuff. So I literally just instead I was like, because I have a friend that owns a CrossFit gym right next to him, and I'm like, have you looked at CrossFit Kennesaw, because Chris is right there, and his schedule might be better than my schedule. And I sent Chris a lead, and I sent this guy over there. I haven't heard back from him, but I just felt like it wasn't an ideal fit, so I just redirected him. And then I had another guy yesterday that was, quite honestly, he was just a dick, and he just put me in a bad mood, and I just didn't want him in my gym, so I just redirected him to another CrossFit gym.
So that's like I've done that numerous times. And the way I used to do it, you know, if
I was nice about it, but I just wasn't interested.
Correct. Like so, like basically what I used to do, I used to say, like if someone came in and I was like, this wouldn't be a good fit for whatever reason, I would only give them the personal training option, right? So, you know, so Pete, like this is what it looks like for you to join here, you know, based on your goals. This is the only thing I feel comfortable you signing up for. It would be 3 times a week personal training, plus customized nutrition. The price for that is going to be $1,179 per month. Pete, how does that sound? No, I can't pay that. Okay, like I understand. I just wanted you to know, like, this is what I recommend. There's other gyms in town that could probably work with you that would fit in your budget better, but like this is the only thing I have for you. And I'd be like, oh well, obviously that don't work. Thank you for your time. And then they would go be a pain somewhere else.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that a lot. Yep. I totally understand that. I've done that before.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Cool. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Will, you have anything before we get off here, buddy?
I don't think so. I talked a little bit about it with Blake last week, and I've talked about it with Tommy recently, but I'm just struggling to get people to even answer the phone, like pick up a text or call, like just getting nothing right now. So could just be that it's a slow season and that's just how sales go, but also could be that something that we need to look at a little bit more in the future, because they didn't necessarily think I was doing anything wrong, but
okay,
you know, just feels really slow right now.
Okay, no, let's keep dialing. Like we just signed up a gym, and I'll let you guys go. We just signed up a all women's gym. They make 200 outbound calls a day to their leads. So that's just to encourage you, but they crush it though. Like they crush it. Yeah. They do tons of revenue. So just keep dialing that phone, man. Like as you get more leads and you have more phone calls, like it is going to sort of capitalize on itself, because you're going to have more leads to call. You're going to be following with people more and more. And then eventually people are going to start saying, this dude been calling me for freaking 2 months. I got to at least answer and go in and talk to him. Then that's when you get it.
Is there anything to like the fact that it's February now, and like, because like I was getting people answering text and calls a little bit more in January for sure. Like I haven't had anybody this place. Like I've had a few people answer calls, and I've had people schedule calls and then say, "Sorry, I'm not interested anymore," or "I've joined another gym," or whatever, which is like nothing I did wrong. I didn't even have a
Yep.
chance to talk to them. Is there something to be said about the difference in like an early January push versus a February push? Because even like the leads coming in slowed down a little bit too.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like this is sort of the time that you know, the excitement has worn off for most people, right? So at my gym, like I never, and I don't know how Pete has his gym a long time with me. Like January was never a big time for me. I would get people in January, but my big time was sort of late February, early March when they've already fallen off the bandwagon of going to the Globo gym. Their best friend, the workout partner, they've stopped going to the gym with them. So late February, early March, they were like, you know, I started and then it just didn't work. And like, I know I need more accountability and I've heard about you guys. So now I'm here. So for me, the early part of the year really wasn't a jumping time. It was late February, March was sort of my New Year's time. Like that's just what I've seen.
Yeah, with the last 14 years or whatever, it's been May. My May is my biggest month ever. Every year, it's always May.
Okay.
Besides the annuals and stuff like that come out in January.
Yeah, because we had like it was hard to tell what the for me it's hard to tell what the timing was because I started launching ads literally like the 27th of December. So it was like basically like January. And then but I also had a lot of leads come in then. Was it because it was like the first time people had seen the ads or was it New Year? And like there's really no way to tell without, making it a full year through and seeing it happen again. But so it was just interesting to see it slow down a little bit and try not to overanalyze the data, but also do the right things to capitalize on the people that I do have in front of me.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. So like I'll give you a little bit before I let you guys go. So like with Lasso, for instance, I just came back from Rogue HQ. If you guys have not been there, you have to get there. It's something that Pete, like we've been around long as Rogue. So like to see Bill to have built what he's built, like Pete, you can't even imagine. Like if you've never been there, this man has 600,000 square feet of amazingness. Like
Yeah.
it's just, but anyways, for us at Lasso, the first time that someone hears about us, so for instance, when we get calls, if someone like, oh, I don't know much about you, like it's not a sales call at that point. It's just like, okay, this is what we do, blah, blah, blah. These are the type of people we help. Hey, we'd like to talk to you in a month or two, after you've done some research and stuff like that about us. Because it is very hard, guys. You got to think about it. It's very hard to get someone to learn about you Monday, come in, talk to you Wednesday, pay $200+ for a gym membership when they're used to paying $15 per month. Like that's a hard sell. Same thing for us, right? The good thing for us is that like, gyms have been marketing for a while in spurts, New You Challenge, Alex Hormozy, but they didn't like the feel of that. So we have to build our trust, our authority in a different way. So that's why I don't personally do the hard sell when I get on. I mean, both of you guys know, both of you guys sign up with us. Like, there's no hard sell. Like, we're gonna talk. This is what we do. I think I can help you. I don't know. I need to think about it. Hey man, no problem. Like, we'll follow up later. Because I've still heard like there's marketing companies telling people, well, what are you gonna do? Like, if you don't do anything, your gym probably be closed down in 6 months. Like that's not my thing, right? So the same thing with you. Well, when these folks are coming in, some of these people they've just heard about you, they may not quite be ready. That's why some of them aren't answering the phone. But continue to call them, leave them voicemails, shoot them text messages, because eventually you're gonna hit them at the right spot, or they're going to have a pain point big enough to where they're gonna come in and sign up with you, guaranteed. Like it works. I did it for 13 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Because right now, it kind of like, with the exception of the people that have come in more recently, it's a lot of just let the automated text do their thing for these people. I called them a lot in the first few weeks of or first few days, especially of them being a new lead. And then it slows down. But then I think the thing that's like, because I've never done something like this before, the hardest like mindset shift is, well, you sat down and gave me your information, or you sat down and booked this call. Like I didn't just happen to get your information. Like I didn't buy it from somebody. Like you took time and energy to give me this.
Yep.
So when you don't answer me, it's like, then why did you do that in the first place?
Yep. I get it. I get it.
Is anybody following up or like DMing people that are like liking the post on the ads? Like, is that even worth it?
So me personally, I don't like that. Like I don't like that play. Like I don't like that. To me, is is like sort of scammy, right? I don't like just like if I like a post on social media, bro, I don't need you freaking sending me a DM, right? Bro,
Okay.
I just like the post. It was a good thing. Okay, cool. Now if someone
I invite them
comments
to
on
follow the
something,
page. I don't mean-
correct. There's nothing wrong with that. And if someone comments on the page or something, now I feel like they comment, like you can reach out to them, but a simple
invite.
like, yeah, but a simple like, nah, you don't need to be jumping in their DM for a simple like.
All
I
right.
don't believe.
Hey,
Yeah.
I tried to look at the people. I sat down yesterday and was like, I'm just gonna look at the people that liked it. First of all, most people aren't even like, they don't even give you access to message them unless they've already liked your page. So that's like the first
Correct.
step. You want good luck finding somebody that has that turned on. The other thing is, man, you look at some of those people and you look through their page and you're gonna pretty quickly realize that's not who I want in my gym.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I felt like I was like, okay, you can keep liking it. And then what's funny is like once I saw that, I was kind of like, you know what? I think I'm like, it's almost like a protection that some of these leads don't respond to me. Because if they're similar to those people that I'm seeing on there, it's like that guy's creepy. Or like, I don't really want that person to be a part of my gym. So it's kind of funny, like almost like justified it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. No.
All right.
So
Cool.
all right,
Appreciate
then,
it,
fellas.
guys.
Yeah,
Go
appreciate
crush
you.
it. Go crush it and let me know what question you have. You guys know how to reach out to me.
All right. Appreciate it. See you next week.
All right, fellas.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.